Ready, set, hut, hut.
As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sounds of Golden Blue football.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Now let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about the 50 to 10 to 5. A touchdown, West Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Patrick White. Touchdown, Tavon Austin.
But Don Nehlen's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels fear to tread.
I think you think that these guys are going to fall over dead for you. Well, I got news for you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth. It's Mountaineer pride.
Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football.
Leave no doubt tonight. They shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue. Not this night.
They've done it. They've done it. A perfect season. And the Mountaineers, for the first time in history, undefeated and untied.
Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers, for the second time, have finished a regular season with an unblemished mark.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into the Country Roads webcast. Here for another live stream, July 11th edition. And we got another joint show for you. We got some football topics to talk about. And then we finally got a basketball portal prospect to talk about. And it's one that you all been wanting. It's a big man. Kind of. We'll talk about it when we get there on the back half of the show. But before that, we do have some really pertinent WVU football topics to discuss. Both dealing with the 2026 class, of course, yet again, on the more positive side, another commitment for WVU we're going to talk about, and it's another impressive one at that. That's 24 verbal commitments for the Mountaineers in that 2026 recruiting class that we're going to discuss here. So we have to talk about him. But, of course, we'll lead it off with kind of the elephant in the room right now. If you haven't heard, there's a big issue with the upcoming WVU football season that kind of sprung up out of nowhere. It's a bit surprising, in my opinion, and definitely a bit concerning, especially in one of the players' case. I think that all four of them had a case to make an impact for the upcoming season. But what we have here is 4 West Virginia players that may not be eligible for the 2025 season. It's not looking the best, and we're kind of in wait-and-see mode on that. So we'll discuss that here at the top of the show. So that's kind of what's on the agenda today. A couple WVU football topics, one more positive, one more negative. And then, of course, we'll switch over, talk a little WVU basketball at the tail end. And that one's positive as well, as West Virginia's after a potential another portal prospect there in that class as they look to round out that roster for Coach Hodges' first season. So with that being said, just want to hit you guys with a quick reminder before we get into all of that. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitch, do us a favor, come over to the YouTube channel, subscribe here. That way you get access to the pre-recorded videos, podcast episodes we put out in addition to these live streams. If you listen on the audio side, which you can find on any podcast platform you prefer, leave us a rating there. That helps on that side of things. And those of you here on YouTube, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, whether you're watching live or on the playback. It helps us out with that crazy YouTube algorithm, helps us find more Mountaineer fans like yourself. And if you haven't yet, definitely hit that subscribe button. Stay up to date on all things WVU football, all things WVU basketball, as we continue to keep you abreast on all of that here on the Country Roads webcast. So with that being said, no further ado, let's talk about these eligibility concerns. So kind of to lead it off, I think what's interesting is, one thing that we've discussed here in the past was we were waiting on the status of wide receiver Jeffrey Weimer, who just came in, began at UNLV his career. Then he was at Idaho State. That's where he was transferring to WVU from. And he was kind of the one, whoops, as I knocked my headphones off to stand there. Sorry about that, guys. But he was kind of the one holdout that wasn't on the roster. Has been doing our roster updates throughout the offseason. He really, was the one that wasn't listed on the official roster, kept not showing up there. They do updates. They even added, Julian Horton, who was the one freshman that wasn't on there that we knew was still coming. But Jeff Weimer still wasn't on the roster. And it was so curious to me because we had seen, him there working out with the team. We had heard about it. We had seen the 40-yard dash screenshots with his name lifted. So it's like he's there. He's going through the workouts in the summer. He's going through OTAs, whatever you want to call it. Why isn't he listed on the roster? And I was starting to wonder, maybe it's an eligibility issue. Sometimes when you're transferring up from another level, you have issues with credits transferring. You got the clearinghouse stuff, all of that. So I'm like, maybe that's what it is. Come to find out, that is indeed the case. But we have a really surprise twist on that here, because University's official roster has listed everyone else the entire time. If you include Jeff Weimer, I think it's 117 players West Virginia would have. West Virginia dropped their media guide last week, and there was only 113 players listed. So, that's 4 names that you're missing there. Who are the 4 names? Jeff Weimer, which I think no surprises. We hadn't seen him on the university's official roster, but the other 3, running back Ty Edwards, defensive back Justin Harrington, and defensive lineman, edge rusher Jamori Robinson, arguably our best portal pickup of the entire offseason. This is a guy that's a pure pass rusher, something that we haven't had come in with his talent level as a pass rusher since probably Bruce Irvin. That's how big of a pickup Jamori Robinson is, and that's why I'm trying to hammer home right here how vital this is and how impactful this could be for West Virginia's upcoming season, because he is literally a defensive player that's a game changer. And this isn't a knock on Jeff Weimer. This isn't a knock on Ty Edwards. This isn't a knock on Justin Harrington. Those guys can make impacts as well. But Jamori Robinson is kind of, what I expect Jaheim White to be on the offense. I think Jamori Robinson could be for the defense. He's the real deal. So I'm super concerned right now, and we're just kind of in wait and see mode. So let me pull this up from 247. This is kind of where it all originated from. And this is where the concerns lie. So 4 of them, according to the online roster, there are 117 players with Jeff Weimer. That 247 says they see him with their own eyes working out with the team, and been told previously that he was not listed as the school awaits an official clearance on eligibility, but it was a formality. So they were expecting Weimer to get cleared. And then here's where we ran into the concerns, and this is where this started to pop up. And it's just so weird to me that they've been on the official roster. There was never any concern stated by WVU, never concern stated by any of the players. And then all of a sudden, here we are, the same month that practice starts, and this pops up. So as I said, the media guy, there are only 113 players, with Weimer being the one missing. But then we also have running back Ty Edwards, defensive end Jamori Robinson, and DB Justin Harrington. So Edwards came from Northern Iowa and was seen working out with the team in June. Robertson is the former CUSA Defensive Player of the Year and one of the top available in the portal this past offseason. He took part in spring football. Harrington transferred in from Washington and has been with the team since January. One thing that all 4 of the players have in common is a long, complicated history with the need for multiple waivers. Edwards, we're talking about Ty Edwards, the running back here, his career began back in 2019, played at 2 different JUCOs over 3 years before 2 more years at 4-year schools, being UTSA and Northern Iowa over the next 3 seasons. Jamori Robinson here, his collegiate career also began in 2019, and he played at 2 different JUCOs, but the second year was completely canceled. Then he was a UTSA for 4 years. So one JUCO year, a canceled JUCO year. I don't think the canceled JUCO year should start. If the JUCO ruling is correct, then wouldn't Robinson have 1 more year left? I don't know. According to the NCAA, not the case. Jeff Weimer's in the same boat. He graduated high school back in 2018, played at a JUCO before playing at UNLV and then Idaho State. Harrington began back in 2018, where he played 2 seasons of junior college before he went to Oklahoma. He spent 4 seasons there before transferring into Washington, but he redshirted in 2021, and 2020 did not count due to COVID. So you can see these guys are, near the end. They've definitely all played, 4 or 5 seasons or been on teams for 4 or 5 seasons. So where are we at with this? What I understand is that it's definitely a issue that's going to take a waiver for probably all 4 of these guys. And maybe even, then if the waiver gets denied, then you have to go through an appeal process. And I don't know if they've already done the waiver process, and then now maybe it's the appeal process we're waiting on to see, and then these guys can be eligible. I don't know. But at this point, it's getting awfully late in the game. And, the court moves kind of slowly at times. So that's definitely concerning in and of itself. Now, maybe if it comes down to it, could we have to do something similar to what happened on the basketball side when Raekwon Battle wasn't eligible, and then there was legal action, and then eventually we got him eligible? I mean, I'm sure West Virginia would take that route if they felt it was truly necessary and they truly had a case here. However, even if that ends up being the case, and let's say that a waiver is denied and appeals denied, and you have to go that route, and you go through the legal system, and then it works out, at this point, that's still going to have to probably play itself out into the season, and you would be, probably 3 or 4 games into the season at that point. So just reading the tea leaves here, like I said, no inside knowledge other than what I've been able to garner from reading, some of the stuff that I shared with you guys and talk about it here on the stream. I'm a little scared and I'm a little worried, and I don't feel the best about it. That's the only way I know how to put it right now with this. And, I think Ty Edwards, that's our power back, would be missing. I think Harrington has a good chance to, be a starter in the defensive backfield. Now, the silver lining here is, and you guys have heard what I said about Jamori Robinson, the silver lining being West Virginia did add plenty of transfers. So, like, you look at the wide receiver position, if we're without Jeff Weimer, we still have Justin Smith-Brown. We still have Logan Ramper. We still have a handful of guys that we brought in there to be outside receivers. I think we'd be okay there and have depth. You look at the defensive back in the secondary, same thing. You got Darren Lewis, the safety from Akron. You got Will Davis. You got plenty of guys to play the safety spot if you're missing Harrington, which, is what it is. Running back wise, now I don't know if we have another power back necessarily. All of our other backs are similar in stature. So, without Ty Edwards, maybe Jaheim White would just have to handle short yardage too. Short yardage and goal line stuff on himself too. With as jacked up as he is, I'm sure he could do that. But Jamori Robinson is the one where I'm really concerned. Yes, silver lining, we do have depth there as well. And even Zach Alley, when he's made appearances this offseason, has talked up the defensive line. Maybe that's why we added Devin Grant late from Incarnate Word, and that's a huge pickup to get when we did. Maybe it's an insurance policy in case Jamori's not ready. We still have a good edge rusher there with Devin Grant or something. I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to read the tea leaves. But if you had to guess, if I, had to make me guess right here what's going to happen with these guys for the upcoming season, I'm about 65% chance that they're not going to be eligible. I think that it's maybe go 60, maybe go 60-40. And maybe that's just because me being pessimistic with this because West Virginia's history with it. And also it's me not wanting to get my hopes up, even though I already have for Jamori Robinson, right? I think right now, as a Mountaineer fan, probably the best thing you can do is expect the worst and hope for the best. And if you're surprised that they're eligible, then that's an awesome surprise that you'll get here over the next month. But we're playing this one by ear. We're definitely going to hear some news here in short order. Practice begins tail end of this month, right before August 1st. I think it's July 30th. So we should know something in short order, but definitely concerning with the eligibility issues for 4 Mountaineers, including West Virginia's best pass rusher and one of their best defensive players. Something we'll keep an eye on there. But now that we got that negative piece of news out of the way, let's brighten it up here. Let's turn the mood up a little bit. Let's talk more positively because West Virginia lands another commitment in that 2026 WVU football recruiting class, and that is Vincent Smith. And he is a talented, he's listed as a corner, but I think West Virginia is recruiting him as a safety, if I'm not mistaken. But he's an absolute freak of nature. 4'2" at 6'2", 200, as you see here, shared on social media. West Virginia lands cornerback Vincent Smith, who ran a 4.4 40 at Under Armour at nearly 6'2", 200 pounds. He cites a couple members of the staff and multiple other reasons for why WVU was the choice. And we see the commitment graphic there from Vincent Smith, 3-star recruit, but one of the highest ranking players in the state of Illinois. So let's pull up his recruiting profile right here. Then we'll update our CRW recruiting tracker and take a look at some of his highlights before we switch gears and talk a little basketball. Okay, so let's go here to his 247 page, where you can see great size, 6'2", 200. You can see why West Virginia is expecting that he may mold into a safety, and they're kind of recruiting him to develop into that. But look here, 4.4 is fast for that size, but maybe our highest rated 3-star yet. It's definitely up there, 89. This is a huge pickup for West Virginia. Top 30 corner in the entire class and a top 10 player in the state of Illinois. Yet again, West Virginia's been locking down players that are highly ranked in their state. And here's another one with Illinois. And that's what I always tell you guys, more so than star rating. Look who else went after them. Look where they rank in their state. That's a good way to know how talented they are. And of course, watch the tape is the main way to know. But number 9 player in the state of Illinois, Vincent Smith, picks West Virginia over other Power 5 offers, Purdue, Iowa. He committed to Northern Illinois in the past, but then narrowed it down to all Power 5 options because they all started coming after him, like Iowa State, Kentucky, like we said, Purdue, Iowa, USC, Illinois, just some teams there that have offered Vincent Smith as well. So highly sought after, and he joins the West Virginia recruiting class now. As we pull up our recruiting tracker here on the CRW, you can see now 24 verbal commitments for West Virginia already. And here we are, 5 months from signing day still yet. And this class is pretty close to wrapped up for the Mountaineers as long as they can keep all these in tow. The latest addition being defensive back Vincent Smith out of Illinois. And I think he is the first commitment out of the state of Illinois in this class. He indeed is. He joins fellow defensive backs Ricky Giles, Amari Peterson, Samaj Hill, Taj Powell, and Emery Snyder as the defensive backs that West Virginia has in this class, with the latest being Vincent Smith, and maybe one of the most impressive in the class with his speed and size, that combination, plus a high rating there within the state. So super excited to add Vincent Smith here to the Take Me Home 2026 class, which continues to expand and grow for West Virginia. And we'll continue to keep you up to date on it here on the CRW. Big pickup there with Vincent Smith, but enough of me babbling on about it. Let's just you guys take a look at a couple of plays here to pull up his huddle tape, which I think he has a couple of different end of his junior year highlight tapes up on there. We're going to look at this one that's about 3 minutes long. We'll take a look at a few plays from it. All right, so here's Mr. Smith. Jumping that pass. Look at that. You see that 4.4 speed right there with how he broke on that thing. I mean, it didn't look like he was going to be in that play at all. Watch this. So look at him. He's coming across. He stops right here, spots the wheel route, sees the quarterback about to throw the wheel route, and watch how quick he breaks on this. Because look right here. He's 5'10", almost 15 yards away, and he gets there by the time the ball gets there to pick it and house it. Bam. Oh, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's what you call triggering downhill, pulling the pin, making your decision, and going right there. And that's what you like, somebody that'll do that, jump in front of the ball. You like that aggressive style. Here he is now on this side of the field. What just happened here? That's the same play we just watched. Oh, no, that's a different one. That's another pick six. So that's back-to-back pick sixes there on the highlight tape. Here's another pick. He's on the right side of your screen here. A little bit blurry on this one, but that's all right. We'll make it work. Okay. So that one was more, he had to field that one like a punt. That was not the best pass, but hey, still got to have the ball skills to be able to catch that thing, locate it, and bring it in. And also that quarterback threw in about triple coverage there. So here's the pass breakup. Here he is on the outside here. See if this is man-to-man. Yeah, straight man-to-man here on this one, looks like. And that's textbook. That is textbook. Stuck with the man. The ball came, drives through, gets his hand in between his hands, breaks it up. Textbook pass breakup there. So you see, a few highlights there from Vincent Smith. We only looked at, 3 plays there. We see 2 picks and a textbook pass breakup. So I think I'm excited about Vincent Smith here in this class, especially how high rated he is, his great combination of size and speed, and just another prospect that continues to get you super excited about this ever-developing 2026 WVU football recruiting class, which already, as we said, nearing 25 verbal commitments here in July. Hell of a job by the staff. Tip of the cap to them and the job that they've done there. So that's what I had on the football side. We're going to switch gears here, talk a little bit of basketball because there is a portal prospect to talk about. I know you guys will be excited about this, especially since it's a big man, which you've been needing. So let's talk a little basketball here. All right, so one thing that we've all been saying is West Virginia, we got to add a big. Why are we going after a big? We need to add a big. Well, we're kind of doing that in a way. It's not necessarily your prototypical, traditional style big. He's not a back to the basket type of guy, but he, fits today's game. He fits the style West Virginia wants to play. And it would be another stretch 4 that if you go small ball could play 5 for you. Think similar to, like what Brendan Lorient can do. And we are talking about Luka Skoric. Let's pull this up here. So a 6'9" wingman, West Virginia is in the mix for. Of course, he would be coming from overseas. He is 21 years old, and this past season at 6'9", he shot 42% from three-point range. So add another one to the list of players that West Virginia has targeted that is 40% three-point shooters. Here's another one. So you got a stretch 4 here in Luka Skoric, who can shoot it, and he also is pretty good rebounding the basketball. So that would give you something on that end of things, what you would need there in the front court addition. You need someone that's able to do that. I think Skoric, albeit being thin, being a stretch 4 more so than your traditional big, he could play that 4 spot for you. In a pinch, he could play that 5 spot for you if you needed. So it's definitely a pickup that would be big for West Virginia. He's heard from a few schools, including Kansas, Pitt, and West Virginia. So, it could be a battle of the backyard brawl schools here for Mr. Skorick here with Pitt and West Virginia involved. We got a few highlights here of him. Number 7. Let's take a look. Liz, I would assume pretty good. Staying base, kind of how wide his feet are there, but the release looks really good. Got that elbow in, looks pretty prototypical, pretty textbook release. He's able to attack off the dribble, and there you see a little bit of the athleticism as he gets up and throws one down. Let's see if we get some. So there he is attacking the basket again. He looks a little bit younger in these highlights. Different team, different number. Maybe that's what does it. Here he is again, number 7 with that same team. And that's a good little pull-up mid-range jumper. You can see him hit those on occasion as well. Oh, that's a nice little acrobatic finish there. So not only can he shoot, he can attack off the dribble a little bit, score off the dribble a little bit. Like I said, my main concern would be, can he defend in the post on defense if we need him to? And, I think he can rebound the ball a little bit, but you can see, man, he's a big, stretch forward that kind of plays like a guard, which is kind of no surprising with him coming from overseas. And I'm really impressed with how he can score off the dribble. That wouldn't be a bad addition to this offense as well. Like we said, we just need to probably get him in there, get him in the strength and conditioning program, put a little weight on him so he can defend in the post, and that's not such a big concern. But I like what I see. I like what I see from Luka Skoric, and we will keep an eye on him as West Virginia has targeted him in the portal. And that could be a player that could round out this Ross Hodge roster. That's what we're waiting to see, right? Who's going to be the final few pieces here to round out this roster for West Virginia? But that's pretty much what I had, guys. Had to talk about some eligibility concerns that are definitely pressing and really concern me. I'm a little bit worried about it, and I don't think it's looking the best. We'll see how it lands there. But other than that, it's positive talk, right? Nice football commit, a good basketball target. West Virginia's in the mix for. Hopefully get positive news on that in the future. And any future updates we get, whether it be recruiting-wise, portal-wise, I'll keep you up to date here on the Country Roads Webcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in here, whether you watch on Facebook or Twitch. Be sure to come over to the Country Roads Webcast YouTube channel, subscribe here, get access to our pre-recorded videos, podcast episodes in addition to these streams. And if you are here on YouTube, just take a second, hit that thumbs up button. Help us out with that algorithm. You can do that whether you're watching live or on the playback. If you listen on the audio side, leave us a rating. That helps us out there. And if you didn't get a chance to chat live, you can throw some thoughts in the comment section. Appreciate those interactions as well as we continue to try and grow the CRW community throughout Mountaineer Nation. And with that being said, we do have a few people in here live this morning. Let me get these comments before we wrap up. We got Viper Strike in here. Appreciate you. He said, I didn't think the JUCO years counted per the Diego Pavia ruling. Same here. Same here. That's what I'm thinking too. And that's why I'm trying to figure this. But if even one of those don't count for Jamori and his other JUCO season was canceled, you would think he would be eligible. But I don't know what type of leeway the NCAA is giving on that Pavia ruling now. I don't know. I've seen some people I've heard have had some things denied this year. So that concerns me as well. But yeah, that is supposed to be the case, Viper Strike. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine at this point with how surprisingly out of nowhere this eligibility issue popped up seemingly, right? We'll see what happens though. But yeah, that's supposed to be the case, Viper Strike. Chris Gerald, good to see you, bro. He said, I really like the trend I'm seeing when it comes to the size of our future DB recruits. Very encouraging. Hit the like button for Jordan, everybody. Hey, appreciate those kind words. Yeah, if you guys would do that, hitting that little thumbs up button helps us more than you realize. But I am too, man. Great length on a lot of the defensive backs we picked up, particularly the ones that are probably going to play safety, right? Like Taj Powell, Samaj Hill, the young man that we just picked up that I can't think of his name, right? Vincent Smith. They're all 6'2 plus, and not only do they have size, but they have speed to go with that length. So definitely, that's what you want with your defensive backs. You want the length, and I'm glad to see West Virginia targeting it from the high school recruiting ranks and doing a great job of landing a lot of those guys. Well, Chris, I agree. And Eric Flowers talking about Lucas Skoric here says, new Pittsnoggle. Hey, I like it. That's a good comparison, man. He can definitely shoot it. He can definitely shoot it for sure. I like it, and I hope West Virginia lands him. That would be a nice pickup, and we'd all feel a lot better about the roster. Even though he's not a traditional big, it's somebody with some height that you can give some playing time to, and I think we'd all be happy about that as we're trying to be happy as we approach the start of the Rich Rod 2.0 era. be a lot happier if we can get Jamori Robinson eligible, and we're going to be happy about the start of the Ross Hodge era as well. So some things to keep an eye on here with the eligibility concerns, with the portal update, but anything that goes on here on the football side as we approach the start of practice later this month. And before we know it, the first game will be here. And of course, the Ross Hodge roster continuing to round out. We'll keep you up to date on all those things here on the Country Roads webcast. But that'll do it for this one. I'll talk to you guys again next time. As always, I'm Jordan Cruz. And until next time, let's go Mountaineers.